Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, friends of the French Foreign Legion. As promised, I'm back again, and today I will present to you the second rep. Before I start the main presentation, please have a look on the intro. You may see a lot of photos you have never seen before. So enjoy and don't miss the main presentation after the intro. Thanks a lot. See you later. Hello gentlemen, good evening friends of the French Foreign Legion. I'm back again, like promised, to present to you the next regiment in my series of clips. And it will be the second rep, Deuxième Régiment Étranger de Parachutistes. I'm sure you heard about this famous regiment. It is the first regiment when it comes in a certain order of experience, of fighting experience and of intervention in the French Foreign Legion. It is the only parachutist regiment the Legion owns today. So, where comes the idea from paratroopers in the French Foreign Legion? It goes back to a small town called Cao Pa. Cao Pa is a Chinese village close to the Vietnamese border. The year was 1946. So in this time and to this place, the legionnaires of the 5th REI made their way fighting through the jungle, fleeing from Japanese invaders who invades Vietnam in 46. And the generals asked themselves, okay, how can we avoid in the future things like that? We need a troop, an elite within an elite who can fulfill jobs like only paratroopers can do. So the idea was given, the kick was here, and 1 year later the company parachutist of the 3rd REI was created, and the first leader was Lieutenant Morin. He was a formidable man and he did a quite good job. 1 year later in time we could testimony the creation of the 1st, the 2nd and the 3rd Bataillon Étranger de Parachutistes. The 3rd was only to provide men and instruction for the fighters fighting in Vietnam, 1st and 2nd BEP. But the 1st BEP didn't live long time, didn't made it for so long time because it was annihilated, massacred in October 1950 in Cô Sa. Only 27 rescapees who made their way to free themselves from the Viet Minh. And the second BEP Same story a couple of years later. The second BEP was annealed and massacred in Dien Bien Phu in the summer of 1954. After the Vietnam War, we could see the creation of regiments. So out of battalions become regiments. So we see the creation of the first rep and the second rep. Both, of course, immediately turned into Algeria War. And here the same story. The first rep was dissolved because it took part of the putsch of the generals. And the second rep, it was the only unit, paratroop unit, survivor unit. The next garrison for this valorous regiment was Bousfer in Algeria. And there was a man called Caillot, Colonel Caillot. He was the new commander-in-chief. And he gave to this regiment, second rep, a new punch, a new energy. And he gave them the commando soul they have until today. After Bousfer, in 1967, the regiment entirely moved to Calvi in Corsica. And here the real adventures started. Firstly, in the 70s and 80s, we had Chad intervention, Operation Taco, Operation Manta, Operation Epervier. Was followed by hostage liberation in Loyada, hostage liberation in Colvézi, 1978. I'm sure you heard about Colvézi. We had operations in Republic Central Africa, in Congo, Operation Pelican. Came the famous Operation Licorne, Ivory Coast. Or Operation Saval in Mali, where the whole regiment, or let's say 300 men from the regiment, jumped over the town of Timbuktu to mess with Al-Qaeda. They jumped with a parachute and with the weapons, hunted down Al-Qaeda until the mountain massif Ifogas. And they were real fighting, give them hard times. And in the last 50 years, let's say, there have not been any major battle as far it concerned France, in which the second rep was not involved. Not to be forgotten, of course, interventions in Iraq and repeatedly in Afghanistan, of course. So, the second rep today, what is it? It's about 1,348 professional soldiers. It's about 10 companies. So we have one headquarter and support company, CCL. We have 5 combat companies. The first, warfare in built-up areas. The second, mountain warfare. The third, amphibic warfare. The fourth, warfare in forest. And the last, the fifth, warfare in desertic areas. Then of course we have the heavy company, former CEA, now called CA. Here you can find, of course, the special troop CCP, commando soldiers, very tough guys, and of course reconnaissance pelotons and anti-tank and mortar. Then we have one company of reserve, one company of administration, and one company of maintenance. Guys who take care about weapons, about engines, about cars, about everything you need to go to war. It's a support company. So let's explain to you the crest of the regiment. This kind of triangle with the number 2 in one corner, and this triangle is dominated by the dragon of Annam. remind everybody to the war in Vietnam. And in the middle, you can see a square with the colors of the French Foreign Legion, red and green. And in the square, you can see the flame, the French Foreign Legion. One thing especially with the second rep, they are kind of insulaire, what means they are kind of isolated from the rest of the French army. And this is a good one. They have their own jumping school. They can build or instruct their own hornets, their own caporals, their own drivers. And this is very useful. So, my opinion, but not only my opinion, but also the opinion of all specialists, military specialists in the world, is that these men, the second rep, are the toughest soldiers of the world. So thank you for your presence, thanks for your patience, and I hope that you are with me in a couple of days when I present to you my next clip. Thank you very much, your Thomas Gast.